All right, everyone. While you were away, I did a little bit of work. What I did is I copied and pasted all of my facts from my chart over here, and I dropped them over here, and I kind of color coded them based on what I want to include in some paragraphs. So my first paragraph is going to be kind of what is PTSD, and I gave, here are the facts I'm going to put. They're green. Then what are the immediate treatments, since I talked about effective treatments for immediate interaction. Purple, they're here, and I might have to find a little more there. And then the blue are the other treatments that we'll be discussing. Now, there is no conclusion yet, because that comes later, okay? So when I go to actually start writing these, I will probably be pulling quite a bit from this fact here about what PTSD is. I would just, post-traumatic stress disorder, also known, or maybe I'll say more commonly known as PTSD, is a mental health condition that affects those who have experienced a traumatic event. The PTSD follows events that include actual or near death experiences or experiences that can result in serious harm or serious harm. Serious harm, sorry. We don't need to say harm and injury. That's just repeating ourselves. All right, now, both of these facts come from the same place, and they came from this one up here. I got to go find it now because the next thing I need is the citation, and this one comes from this article called Post-Traumatic Stress. So I come down here back to my article, and I put a little space, and I put a little V, and I always forget that I already have the thing there, so I take that out. And I use the same one here, so I put it there also. Even though I broke that fact into 2 sentences, now I just put that for both of them. PTSD, or let's see, those who suffer from PTSD, that way I don't keep starting my sentences the same way over and over again, have dramatic feelings of fear and horror. They also often feel helpless following the events that created the condition in their minds. Okay, again, these came from the same article, that same fact. It was kind of a big information bit, so it's getting broken up here. So I'm going to attribute everything to everything. So if this came from that, I'm telling it. Now I'm done with it, so I'm going to delete it. And so then I would go on. Now this is already probably a pretty good paragraph, so there's no reason I can't go on to another paragraph, and so I will. The next one I might talk, this will go into the next paragraphs. I'm not going to make you watch me write all of it, but you can kind of see how this paper is building. If you needed to, and I strongly encourage you to, go back over here and check it out. We already checked off our introduction. We made sure that everything was there. And now the body paragraphs. I should be keeping my argument should be there. I have my facts and information. Yes. I need to explain them. Yes. And include the in-text citation. Yes. And I give you this example about a Big Bend paper that I wrote last year, similar to how I'm writing this one this year. And when I finish these body paragraphs, then I'm done with this, and that's another major grade, and hopefully it's an easy 100. So I'm going to pause the video and do a little bit more writing, then we'll talk one more time before we complete this one. All right, so it's been a few minutes and I'm back. I have not finished the whole paper, but I've written enough of it to show you some of the key pieces that you need to have. We've already talked about the intro. Last time we wrote these first couple of paragraphs, or we started to, these would be kind of my, not my introduction, because that's up here, but this would be the paragraphs that kind of talk about what PTSD is. Remember, those notes were originally in green, and now the paragraphs, I kind of tagged them green. I'll erase that before I finish. You can see that there are in-text citations all throughout, right? I'm telling you where every bit of information came from. What I wanted to point out to you, though, is how important it is that you stay with the idea of being persuasive. So I originally said we need to be doing more, and so now I'm here telling you about how terrible it is. Those who suffer from PTSD experience severe nightmares. They stay awake at night. Here's where I put my opinion in to make it persuasive. It is devastating to think of the soldiers who fought for our country are now laying awake. Ooh, look at that. It should be lying awake. This is why we read through things, but I'll fix it in a minute. Lying awake at night, unable to escape the battles of their minds. Too many veterans continue to struggle with PTSD even years after the war ended. It seems the war never ended for them, right? So it's all like, ooh, intense, because that is what we want. We want it to be persuasive. We're using our research to build an argument. Then yet my next 3 paragraphs are coded in purple. Just like I told you, my immediate treatments would be coded in purple. These are the facts are kind of spread out through here now. Same thing. Helping these soldiers is often as simple as telling them they will be okay. Researchers have determined that we will never be able to completely remove memories and experiences. And here I tell you the fact, this is what our soldiers need. So here's me again, putting in my opinion, a chance to soften the edges of their memories. Research has found that these veterans need reassurance they will recover. The sooner the better. So while we have the facts in there, absolutely, there's me kind of interpreting the facts. Reassurance is the first line of treatment. Rather than clamming up and refusing to speak about the incident, soldiers with PTSD should be talking about their memories. This will help the soldier make sense. Simply talking can be healing. Talk therapy has a role. So you can see my facts in there, and you can see my opinion in there as well. This type of therapy removes the sting and the trauma they initially created. So my last paragraphs that I have not written yet are the ones about the actual other treatments where the drug therapy comes in, the psychotherapy, and also I do have some facts about drugs and how some drugs can be used, things like marijuana and maybe even LSD in low doses to help with PTSD treatment. Remember, you do not have to have a conclusion yet. That is going to show up on the next one. And this fact, I haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet. It's just kind of hanging out. But the idea is you take your 20 facts and you arrange them, and then you turn them into body paragraphs, much like you're seeing me do here.